Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Drunk Game Retellings. I'm Jack, and as always, I'm your host. I'd like to apologize, first of all, for kind of the long wait. There's been a lot of sidetrack things that have been happening in my life personally to kind of stop episodes from coming out. But for now on in 2016, I'm going to be trying harder to get more episodes out, kind of making more out there. My original plan was to make this sort of bi weekly, but it wouldn't shock me if, for the time being, things may end up just monthly. But, I'm still going to get content out there. I'm still going to release episodes. That's for sure. But another thing I want to try out is I want to really experiment with the kind of the format of the show as this year goes on. I will kind of explain that as, when it may come to that in future episodes. But for the time being, I'm going to introduce the latest guest. My guest is my friend Nick, who will be doing the drunk retelling of Paper Mario Thousand Year Door for the Nintendo GameCube. And so, without further ado, here's my pal Nick.
Hello, and welcome to Drunken Game Retellings. This is Nick, and I will be telling you the story of Paper Mario, the Thousand Year Door. As our story begins, you have to watch the opening credits where Peach purchases a box that contains a map of the city she is in called Rogueport. And she sends that map to Mario and tells Mario to come join her in her quest to find this treasure that this map has. And so Mario shows up. Peach is nowhere to be seen. The first friend Mario meets is a Goomba named Goombella, who is the cutest. She has a little mining hat with a light on it, and she's an archaeologist, so she knows all kinds of knowledge, and that's what her ability is to tell everything around you, like how it interacts with you, what this area does, things like that. And she says, hey, cool map, let's take it to my boss. His name is Frankly. And so they end up over at Professor Frankly's, and he realizes it is a map to the Thousand Year Door. And so he says, we must go into the sewers, because that's where all mystical things are contained, is in the sewers. And they go into the sewers. They reach the map pedestal. They hold the map up. A really cool effect happens, to be quite honest. Like, there's some ripples, but there's a really cool ripple where it's also pixelated outwards, and it's very exciting. And that happens, and then it is shown that the first crystal star that they have to get is in Petal Meadows. And to seal the door, they have to get all of the crystal stars. That's what they are told. And so they end up in Petal Meadows. It's a pretty average video game area. Just kind of, it's a meadow. And then there's a town of Koopas. And you meet Koops. And it's awesome. Koops is like your first real group buddy who feels like he's doing something. Goobella's great, but she just kind of mimics what you do. So when you get Koops, he's able to hit all the enemies on the screen. It's great. And so they end up in Hooktail's castle, which is where the first star is said to be contained. And Koops is also looking for his dad, who was killed by Hooktail. They end up going all the way through the castle, which is a long time. You spend a lot of time in this castle fighting dudes you don't want to fight. And then you end up at the top. You kill Hooktail by equipping a badge. I haven't talked about the gameplay yet. To play this game, it's like a turn-based RPG, but you press buttons in time with certain actions on the screen to decrease damage, to increase damage done to other players. And then You equip badges with badge power, and by equipping badges, you can give yourself other moves. You can increase your damage, increase your defense, all kinds of cool little things. And so you equip a badge that makes a cricket sound, and Hooktail apparently hates crickets. That's his thing. And it bothers him so much that he basically dies. You beat him up because he hates cricket so much. And so he falls over dead. And he spits out Koops' dad. Now, the reuniting of family members is a huge theme throughout this entire game. It's amazing. Uh, so he spits out Koops' dad, and Koops' dad is like, "Hey, son, I'm proud of you for beating this dragon." And he says, "Here is the star that was in his stomach." He goes, "Here is the diamond star." And he gives it to me, and then it reveals a new place on the map once we get down to the pedestal again with Frankly. And Frankly goes, "Oh my God." And we have to go to Bogley Woods. And Bogley Woods is another big ass area with not a whole lot of stuff in it, just a lot of places to go. It's just a road. And so you end up meeting Flurry, who is another partner you get. She is a cloud woman who is an actress. It's really odd. She's on the box. She appears to have exposed breasts, but no nipples. She's just a cloud with boobs. And so she becomes a partner, and she helps us get into the Great Tree, which is where the Punies live. And the Punies are these cute little creatures that sure do look a lot like Pikmin and function a lot like Pikmin as you make your way through this tree. And you are teamed up with a certain Puny named Punio, who is your buddy, and you're trying to save his sister. And you meet the elder in this tree. You do all kinds of stuff in this tree, just another area. And you fight the X-Nauts for the first time. And you meet them earlier in the game. But the X-Nauts are the primary antagonists. And they want to get the crystal stars to unlock the door and get the ancient treasure inside, which no one knows what it is. And so you team up with the Punies, you fight the X-Nauts and their general, whose name is Lord Crump, and you get the Emerald Star from him that powered his Magnus von Grapple, which is the big Voltron suit he wears, and he uses to beat up Mario. You get the Emerald Star from him, you take it back down to the pedestal with Frankly. You find out that you have to go somewhere else, and you end up going to Glitzville, which is the best part of the game. You go to this weird town in the sky with the help of a Mafia Don who is a Pianta from Super Mario Sunshine. Makes no sense. It's just a weird story of a race that didn't really seem like gangsters who turned out to all be gangsters. And you go to Glitzville, and you see that the crystal star is attached to a wrestling belt. And you have to become a professional wrestler to get this crystal star. And it's so cool because they really do an interesting, like, team dynamic. They're a bunch of Spinies that are a wrestling team, and you fight your way up through 20 rounds. There are 20 people above you, and your goal is to fight Rock Hawk, who is the current champion. And you keep getting emails from a mysterious person who is helping you this whole time. And you fight Bowser randomly at this point in the game. He just shows up and he's like, "Hey, I want to fight Mario. I heard he's been wrestling." And they get him, and you beat Bowser then, and it's a weird, like, awesome, I didn't have to beat him, but I definitely did feeling. You find out later that the emails have been coming from this woman who works for the boss of the wrestling committee. Her name is Jolene, and the boss's name is Blubba. And he goes to his boss and he says, "Hey, I know what you've been doing," because he finds out that the boss has been sucking the life force of the combatants to make himself immortal, which is a weird Mario plot point. But you beat the boss, who is the real boss of the Federation. And I didn't mention it, but earlier in this, you get another partner. His name can be whatever you want because it's a baby Yoshi and he's yours. And he calls you by your stage name, which is the Great Gonzalez, because you have a sweet mustache. So he names you Spanish because of your mustache. You beat up Blubba. Jolene talks about how she wanted to beat up her boss because her boss absorbed the life force of her brother, who was once the champion. And even after you beat the boss, the brother shows up anyway, and we have another family reuniting. It's really beautiful, which is a phrase that you really shouldn't necessarily have to say when you're talking about a Mario game. Oh, goodness. Then you take the star down to the door on the pedestal and frankly tells you got to go to Creepy Steeple. In this Creepy Steeple, it's in Twilight Town. There's a little side quest to get your name written on your clothes. It's very strange. But you end up in Twilight Town and you find out the residents of Twilight Town, every time the bell at Creepy Steeple rings, they are turning into pigs. Non-functioning pigs. And it's really putting a damper on this community. It's rough. So that's one of your main reasons to go get this star, which is at the steeple. So you go through this forest, which is just a pain to go through because there are unavoidable fights, even though you've been through this forest 4 or 5 times by now. And you end up at the steeple, and you fight the guy at the top. His name is Dupless. He looks like a man inside of a sheet with a party hat on. It's a very strange design that makes no sense to me and is kind of upsetting. And you beat him, and then it says that the thing's over and you got the star. But then it turns out you didn't. Dupless, somehow, I played it recently, and I'm an adult, and I don't see how it happened. I really don't. I don't see where it went wrong. He beats up Dupless. Dupless then becomes Mario, and you become literally like a shadow version of yourself. And while you are Shadow Nameless Mario, you make friends with one of the Shadow Sisters, who have teamed up with the X-Nauts to take you down. And her name is Vivian, and she wears a red hat. And there are 3 sisters. There is the really skinny one with the blue hat, the fat one with the yellow hat, and the normal-sized one with the red hat. And the normal-sized one with the red hat becomes your friend. And she goes, "You are nice. My sisters are mean. I would like to be your friend and help you get your identity back from this man in the sheet." And so you team up, you go back to the steeple. And like I said, you've been through this forest. By the end of this chapter, you've been through this forest 4 or 5 times at least. It's the worst. I hate this forest. There's no quick travel. It's this long forest with unavoidable battles. But you end up back where you were when you fought Dupless the first time, and you fight yourself, basically, who has all of your partners, and you only have Vivian. But Vivian has the ability to help you not take damage. So the boss battle isn't that hard whenever you say, "Please don't hurt me." And you get the Ruby Star. Dupless is found out. They go, "Oh, you weren't Mario." And everyone goes, "Oh, we solved the Scooby-Doo mystery." And you get the star, you're Mario again, Dupless is gone. You end up going back to Rogueport, going into the sewer, taking the star to the pedestal in front of the door, and then holding it above your head and getting a new location on your map, like you've done 4 times before. And it says you got to go to Key Hall Key. That's across the ocean. You got to get a boat. And there's a guy who runs a boat. His name is Flavio. He's all into money. And he says, I don't got a guy to help us get to this treasure. I need an extra man on the ship. And so whatever role Bobbery plays on the ship is very important. But you find out that Bobbery lives in the town of Rogueport. The only way into his house is through his chimney. And I've neglected to mention it throughout the rest of this podcast, but you have been gaining paper powers as you've gone through this game. At the beginning, you got the paper airplane power. You can turn into an airplane on a stage. You just get on a certain platform, you can turn into an airplane. You get the power to switch to being 2D, so basically turning sideways on a 2D plane being paper. And so you get real thin, you can flip through bars. And then now you've gotten the roll move, which is you turn flat and then you circle the stick a lot and you turn into a little paper roll. And you go down this man's chimney, this man who has not bothered you at all. And you ran in his house and he goes, who are you? My name is Admiral Bobbery. Get out of my house. And so you leave his home. You go to the bar. You talk to the barkeep. The barkeep says, man, Admiral Bobbery's been sad for a long time. His wife, she died. And this is the only story in the game that spoke to me. And the barkeep gives you a letter from his dead wife that he sent. And the barkeep never gave to him in all this time, but he gives to a total stranger. And he says, give this to Bobbery. You take it to him and you say, it's a letter I got from the barkeep from your dead wife, who's been dead for so long. And I have this letter, and I'm a stranger. And you give it to him. He reads it, and the letter says, hey, I'm sick, I'm going to die, but I want you to keep sailing on the ocean. And so he says, I'll go back on the ocean with you, Mario, for my wife. And so that was really my favorite part of playing it through recently. I really felt for him. So he ends up on the ship. You go on the ship wrecks. Your team is stranded on Key Hall Key. And Admiral Bobbery gets in trouble on Key Hall Key. He seems to die. You get him a Coke. And he revives himself. He says, I feel better with this Coke. And with him and the help of Flavio, the pirate, you get into the caves at Key Hall Key. And, man, the caves are long and they are filled with really easy puzzles. And you beat your way into the cave, you beat your way through the cave, you get another ability, which is to turn into a paper boat, and you beat Cortez, who is the boss of the area. He's a bunch of old bones. And he goes, you can't have my treasure. And you say, I'm going to take it. It's my treasure now. And so you beat Cortez, and then Cortez helps you beat the X-Nauts at the end, because Cortez was like, you just wanted the treasure to help your friends. And he was a good guy all along, which is really easy and a great way for you to get to and from Key Hall Key with the help of an iconic boss who's on the cover of the game. So, I haven't talked about this much. There's a side story going on during this whole thing where Bowser is chasing Mario. It's pretty boring. You play some exploratory levels where you talk to people and they say funny things, and you do some side-scrolly levels, and then at the end you basically fail your way to the top. So Bowser's story is pretty dull. I haven't mentioned Admiral Bobbery joins your party. and he's a bomb with a pirate hat, and his turner on his back is a ship's wheel, and he's the coolest design. He's so cool. But also during the entire game, you could be doing side quests, and these side quests, you can get badges, you can get money, you can get all kinds of stuff. But what you really gain from doing side quests is hopefully you end up doing the one that nets you Mrs. Mouse as a partner. Mrs. Mouse is a badge thief that you have encountered, I'd say 3 times already in the game. And she can join your party and be your partner. And she's a really great partner to have. She can heal Mario with her moves. And to be quite honest, the entire game hinges on you taking care of your partners and leveling them up to give them more abilities. But enough of that. Take a drink. Oh. You take this crystal star you got on Keyhall Key from Cortez, take it down into the sewers. You put it on the pedestal. Boom. Find out you have to go to Polishy Heights, which is the most expensive place in this universe. So the only way there is by Posh Train. So you get a ticket from Don Pianta, who gave you the ticket earlier to get to Glitzville, and you head on the train, and I don't want to give anything away, but there's some fun adventures on the train. You fight a boss who's really boring, but the train adventures are cool. You end up at Polishy Heights, and this entire time you've been solving mysteries with the help of this penguin. His name is Pennington, and he is like Sherlock Holmes, but he is a penguin, and he is blue. And you find out that the Crystal Star is in the museum, which he is the curator of. So you end up at the museum, but the Shadow Sirens get there first, and they take what seems to be the star. And you find out that it's a fake one, and then you get the real one. And it's kind of pointless that there was a twist, because you just kind of get it anyway. But that nets you the Garnet Star, which is the second to last star in the game. And I've neglected to mention it, but also during the entire game, you have had a story with Peach, who has been kidnapped by the X-Nauts and is held against her will. Now, this entire time, she interacts with a computer who lets her out of her room. The computer's name is TEC, or Tech. And Tech falls in love with Peach. It is an honest to goodness love story that takes place in this game between a computer and a fictional princess whose only existence has been to save. And it's weird. And it's kind of beautiful. But this computer helps Peach give information to Mario that helps him with his quest, and it helps the plot along, and then Peach is taken away. Which then leads you to taking the Garnet Star from Polishy Heights to the sewer to the podium, and finding out you have to go to the moon. And so getting to the moon requires you talking to 2 bombs. One you have met many times on the train. His name is Gold Bob. He is your friend. And he says, it is so easy. I will do this for you, my friend. The other one, his name is General White, and he is an endless fetch quest through every level you've been in the game until you can find him. And then you spend a good few minutes jumping on his head to make him wake up to give you access to the cannon to the moon. And it's useless. And as far as the quests in this game go, some are long and tedious, but none more so than General White's. And so you get shot to the moon, and that's where the X-Naut base is. You get the final crystal star from General Lord Crump, who is in the Greppel von Magnus von Greppel 2, the second one. You get the star from him. And then you go down and you talk to Tech, and Tech's like, hey, I gotta get you home. But they're going to the Palace of Shadow with Peach. Oh, and this story is really long. And so you end up from the Palace of Shadow going down to the 1,000-Year Door to get in, which is the door opens when you take the final crystal star there. And so then you go down. Hopefully you've leveled up quite a bit. You have given your party members shine sprites to make them better because your party members are crucial. And so you go through the 1,000-Year Door, through all these tunnels and things, and you end up at the tower, which is called the Riddle Tower. And you fight Gloomtail, who, for whatever reason, is the brother of the first boss, Hooktail the dragon. But this is Gloomtail, and he is harder, and he is purple. And you beat him, and whatever, and you get through. Then you fight Bowser, and you fight Cammy, and you fight Grotus. Grotus is the leader of the X-Nauts, and Bowser and Cammy are just there to get in your way. Like I said, their story has them failing to the top. So you beat all of them. You go down this long tunnel, and it gives you health in flower power, and you realize that, oh my god, this is the final boss. They fully healed me. This must be the last one. You go in, boom. They unlock this big chest, and it is the Shadow Queen. She is a demon, just a big purple demon. We find out that the Shadow Sirens were trying to get her awakened all along. Another Shadow Siren tryst that we did not need. But we find out that Peach is the vessel for poor Shadow Queen, who's been dead for 1,000 years in this tomb. And so you fight Peach, and you find out that the Shadow Queen's invincible, but then you hope that everyone will start wishing once it gets dark. And they're praying and they're cheering. And that helps you beat the Shadow Queen, and you save the world. And everyone's fine again, like nothing ever happened. And there's an epilogue where all of your partners live the fulfilling lives that they wanted to, and you have gone home with Peach, and everything is fine, and there are no repercussions from Peach being inhabited by a literal 1,000-year-old demon who's been awakened by her latest followers.
Hello, and welcome to Tipsy Talk, or it may end up being a drunk discussion, whichever you may call it. I'm Jack, and with me is the guy you just heard, my pal Nick.
Hello, it is me. It is Nick.
Hello, Nick. How is it going?
I like how you have thought to change the name to Drunk Discussion due to the level of my intoxication that I'm at.
I'm getting there too. By the end of this, I probably will not be as drunk as you, but I will have plenty of drinks too.
Well, there's nothing ashamed in second place.
Nothing wrong with that. But we are both first place in playing this game.
Oh man, I'm glad I replayed it recently because it's so fascinating. There's not another Mario game like it, aside from the other Paper Marios.
Or at least like the first one. I
Yeah.
know that it's we'll get to that, but this was actually, when I was playing it, this is truly my first playthrough, because when I originally got this, it was actually while we were both in college. I
remember you fell asleep during the tutorials. You were like, I know how video games work. Oh, I'm tired. I'm tired from all the time it has taken to fake learn. I must sleep.
Yeah. I got it for pretty cheap too. I was shocked. I mean, it
Mm-hmm.
was used, but still, it was like $15,
Mm-hmm.
which compared to where you go on Amazon, it'll be like $100. Even for like a used copy, people are assholes about that. But someone was generous enough to price it where it should be for a used game, and I got it. Has the manual still, and it was a lot of fun, like all the way
It's
through.
it's a really great game. I think as far as when you marry that mechanic with the really like thought out individual stories of the game, it
Mm-hmm.
makes it feel like you're progressing.
Now, usually I start this off like, "What's your opinion of the game?" But I already know you like it, so I'm just gonna ask, why do you like this game so much? What is about it about Paper Mario Thousand Year Door that really draws you in?
I remember the first time I played it, I rented it from a Blockbuster. And normally when I rented a game from Blockbuster, I'd play it for the night. And if I liked it, I'd keep playing, but if I didn't, whatever.
Right.
Nothing serious. But I played this one. I rented it, so I had it for not very long. This is old school renting, back in Blockbuster. But
Hell yeah.
I made it to Far Outpost, which is where you shoot to the moon, which is the
Mm-hmm.
seventh chapter of the game. By the time I had to return it,
Shit.
I just didn't stop. It was it was a weird impulse because it was like around fifth or sixth grade, and I guess it was because the story was interesting. And most games I played up until then were like Super Mario Sunshine or Luigi's Mansion. And while those are great, the actual written word story is pretty minimal. But in this one, it's almost all presented as text. And I really enjoyed the individual stories when I was 12. It was interesting.
It really is. I when I was around that age, I don't know why, but I never got Paper Mario 2, but I had the original, despite having a GameCube.
Mm-hmm.
I loved the original Paper Mario for that same reason. Although having played this game, I like its story and its settings a lot more.
Mm-hmm.
I really like how they really approach, doing the RPG. Like, despite it being turn based, they have this really cool approach to combat where they do
Yes.
like a rhythm timing aspect where you just kind
Mm-hmm.
of depending on how you attack, like jumping, you time it before you land to do like an awesome, like just make it hurt a little more.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
then the best part is this game added, like, by the end of the first Paper Mario, you should be able to do the action commands. They haven't changed.
Hmm.
Like, but in this one, they add the stylish commands,
Yes.
which if you get into, the jump one is the easiest one because you hit it at the peak of your jump and you do like a belly flop. And you're like, whoa, stylish. And you get extra crowd points and it feels so good. It adds this like, it goes from adding the button press to adding like, if you're really good at the button press, like keep going.
Yeah, I'm actually a huge fan of this. The way they expanded the crowd concept in the game, where you have
Mm-hmm.
people like it gives a neat little incentive to like doing it well because getting the more people you have, the more they cheer, the more your star meter fills up.
Mm-hmm.
Like when you do like appeals and stuff, it's a huge improvement from the first game when if you wanted more charge, you had to do charge.
Yeah, you
That
had to just give up. Like,
yeah.
oh, I'd like to do moves. I'll have to not move right now.
Yeah.
I'll do a think and charge.
And it kind of fits the aesthetic as well because like with the first game it was more of like a storybook kind of deal
Yes.
where even like when you meet characters they would like hand drawn like these little moments of Mario hugging someone,
Mm-hmm.
giving a hug. But in two, I think of it as like a papercraft theater where
Mm-hmm.
it's like they cut out all the figures, they'll have them like move around like that, but you have like the actual curtain opening And it's like with Super Mario Brothers 3 when they had that whole like
Yes.
theater aspect where everything was kind of. There were some levels where you could tell there was like lined up with sticks as you were jumping around. Like this is clearly like all a theater act. Like
Yes.
even though like Miyamoto, he always says like, oh, this every Mario game they're all friends in real life. It's all pretend. Every game's pretend, but they like it's pretend within pretend.
Hmm.
This is like you're going to the Orpheum. Like I mean, like you're going to the you're going to like the theater. You're going to Broadway. Like all the other Mario games, it's like, yeah, I saw that Mario the other day, and then you're like, oh shit, you're going to Broadway. That's yeah. They got the curtains up. Oh man,
There's a, especially from I played this one before I played the first one.
really.
Yeah, I just never, my N64 like memories are so much guided by I went to a friend's house and played a game rather than like I looked into it myself. So like once I had a GameCube, I had like five N64 games.
Right.
Two of which were Banjo Kazooie games.
Oh, of
so keep
course.
that in mind. They're the same. Oh. But I don't know. When I picked this one up, I don't know. Do you have a favorite chapter? Like the game is so, it feels so cohesive. While
Right.
because it has that picture book like story tell format, but it's also subdivided. So like chapter one, chapter two, like characters don't go from one chapter to another unless they're your partner.
Exactly. It feels every level really has like its own unique aspect in terms of what its story is and how you go through. And
Mm-hmm.
there are two I really like.
Oh, I'm
which
excited
is
to hear.
which are it's chapter 3 and chapter 4 for the glitz glory the wrestling, and then chapter 4 with the pigs, or as the Paper Mario one they were called Lil Oinks.
Oh, little oinks.
Lil Oinks. But
Uh,
I like both of them for different reasons. Chapter 3, I like how its concept of combat isn't like random encounters. It's you're
mhm.
rising up in the ranks. You're getting like your little. I could hear like it's not in there, but you can just play like Rocky music as you're like da 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 chiming it all right, just as
Oh yeah, but
as
like
you're going through like little shitty like like minor league group, and then you get
yeah,
to
you go
yeah.
up in stature. Like you go in the terrible locker room, you go in the less terrible locker room, and then by the time you're champion, your bedding is like animal print, which is of course the ultimate sign of wealth. It's like, my bed is made of a tiger.
Yeah. It's like, and then you go against, and then like before that you go against like the like top player, and all through that like you start seeing like your face and all the like posters everywhere, and it's
Mm-hmm.
like initially you see it's all about Rock Hawk. I love his name, Rock Hawk. That's a
Yeah,
total wrestling name.
it sounds like a real wrestling
It
name.
reminds me of like Macho Man, Randy
Mm-hmm.
Savage, like
I
that
think
type.
he's supposed to.
I think so, but
So
it's
like when he talks, he should sound like, "Oh, my name is Rock Hawk. Oh, I'm the cream of the crop." Like
yeah. I'm just gonna
that's always how he sounded in my brain.
but it's like during all of that, you're slowly raising the ranks. But when you originally see him, like one of the moments you walk in the lobby and you have all of these NPCs like crowding around him. That's the one thing I really like about this game is like how many like toads and enemies stuff they can just put on the screen at once, like hundreds of
Oh,
them.
yeah.
But that was one of my favorite moments because they all have like, oh my god, and you talk to people and it's like, get out of my frame, I'm trying to take a picture, asshole.
I'm trying to leave this building.
Yeah,
If you could get out of my way,
please leave.
I could.
But it's like, eventually when you become the champion, when you walk in the lobby, they're all crowding around you,
Yeah.
and it's like you talk to these people like, oh my god, let's get you an interview, the Great Gonzalez, let's go.
Mm-hmm.
And I also liked, even though I didn't use the partner a lot, I liked naming the Yoshi.
Oh yeah.
What did you name yours? Do you remember?
Oh,
Because
I know. I remember my first time I played. I named him after my best friend at the time, his name was Hayden. And I
Mm-hmm.
was like, I named this Yoshi after you. I got it for my birthday. I showed it to him. And then he was like, I'm tired of watching you play this game. This is a single player game. You got it for your birthday. Wait till I'm gone. And I was like, perfect. I get why this is boring to watch.
Yeah. I thought when I was naming him, I just considered that like Mario probably only says around his partners like Wahoo! Yahoo! So I just named the Yoshi Yahoo with an exclamation point. And the Yoshi thought, oh, that's my name. I am Yahoo.
I am Yahoo.
So that's what I thought. That was really cute, and I liked how there's this creepy conspiracy at the same time. Like I remember they had I forget the enemy's name in the first Paper Mario, but there's like a similar concept of like the Grubba character.
Oh, that weird egg monster.
Yeah, the egg monster who ate booze but was already like invincible.
Yeah,
so I liked it. Yeah, so I liked in this game how it was just he's the manager of the wrestling thing, but he's just trying to be young forever. Mm-hmm. So he's stealing like it reminded me of Space Jam. Where he's stealing the talent. He's like, yes, now I am the greatest champion.
Except for in Paper Mario, is like, now here say I am the champion. I must be from the South.
Yeah,
because this is how I talk in the written text of the game.
But and then going to four, it's really why it's my favorite is really for one singular moment, and it's something that I thought was really clever to kind of prevent like skipping through the chapter and replays. Mm-hmm. Is when you're going against Dupless and he steals your body, basically, and your name, and it's like the only way. It's like a Rumpelstiltskin situation where you have to say his name.
And but he takes your L.
He takes he takes the letter from like your keyboard. He takes the P. He takes the P from your keyboard, so it's like when you're going through, it's like, what the hell? There's a P missing.
I know what his name is. His name is Do. There's no letter there. But it's gone.
The funny thing is, you can use the capital P, but that's not how it works. It's like, nope, my name's not Dupless. No, it's Dupless. You're wrong. I'm gonna kill you now, but he can't kill you. And I appreciated that. He's like, don't go running away now. And then I ran away. He was so mad.
Oh dang!
Oh,
dang. Just, you run away, and he's like, man, he ran away.
Do you happen to have like a favorite boss? Like maybe not like as the fight, but maybe just their character.
Oh, I like how quickly Cortez turns from an enemy into a friend.
That's great.
Where you break into his caverns and then you break into his ship and you're like, hey, give me what I want. And he goes, no, I'm going to fight you. And then you go, I only want one singular item. And he goes, oh, I get to keep all my treasure except one thing. So you're my friend. And I'll immediately help you fight the boss.
Yeah.
I got you. I'm a bone skeleton that's on the cover of the game as an enemy.
I really like that part, too, because it reminded me of probably my favorite movie, The Goonies.
Oh, yeah.
Because it just reminded me of, like, trying to get stuff from One-Eyed Willie, but I just like to imagine, like, the alternate version of The Goonies where One-Eyed Willie comes to life, and it's like, oh, we only want a bit of it. Oh, okay.
Oh. We only want one thing. Okay. Oh, dude, great. Yeah, take it. Make a friend.
Yeah, is that make friends with pirates. It works out.
Hashtag I paid for a friend's meal at Chick-fil-A. Pass it on.
One of my favorites, even though he's a complete loser, I love Lord Crump. Lord Crump, if only because when I imagine his voice, because of like his catchphrase, I think of Droopy Dog. when he goes boo hoo hoo boo hoo hoo boo hoo hoo boo hoo I got you now, and he never gets you. He's the biggest loser as compared to like in the original Paper Mario when he had like well there wasn't I can't really think of a character like Lord Crump. No, there were characters that did recur. There's like a little, I forget his name in Paper Mario 1. There's like a little half shell, like
Yeah,
Koopa.
little shell boy.
Yeah, little shell
He
boy who was always owned and he tried to get more stuff,
yeah,
but he kept
and
getting owned.
he'd get wings, he'd get a spike, you'd have a hammer, you'd throw your hammer, and then he'd just be like, "Oh, I've lost again.
I
How could I ever win?"
Yeah. I think that's cuter than Lord Crump, but I think Lord Crump is just funny as like for the number two of like a really spooky robot guy, it's funny how incompetent he is.
Yeah, Lord Crump works better as like a straight villain to be funny because like that shell guy's supposed to be funny because he's a baby.
Yeah.
But this is a grown man who can't seem to do this himself, which is funny all on its own. It's like he just can't anticipate anything that's going to happen. He's terrible at war, and he's a general.
And it's even funnier, like with like you have him, and then you have like just Bowser,
Oh yeah,
who this whole game is like 5 steps behind you, like
yeah.
this
I think
entire.
I said it, but like you play as Bowser, but Bowser just like fails upwards until you actually fight him as a boss.
Yeah, you fight him like the 2 times like in the wrestling, and then when he lands on the X-Naut's leader, like
Yeah, when he ends up at the like he fails to the end of the game. He's like,
yeah.
I've done it. Now I get to fight Mario. And then once you beat Kamek, beating Bowser is crazy easy.
Yeah, and then Sir Grotus just in the meantime just runs back and then
Ugh.
summons the demon.
It is strange because the end of the first Paper Mario is like a singular boss battle, which is how I think all games should be. And this one is like a weird gauntlet.
Yeah, it reminds me of like a typical JRPG when they instead of having like one boss of like 3 forms, you just have 3 bosses, really.
Yeah.
Because you got Sir Grotus, you got Bowser, then you have the Shadow Queen, who really, other than just showing her real form, is just that's basically the same thing. Because you just have to fight long enough to survive, and then you fight her in her real form, and that's it.
So I'm going to tell you a fun story.
Okay.
The first time I ever beat this game. So you got to understand, when I played this game the first time, I was but a child.
Yes.
I was terrible at video games. There were no JRPGs except for this one. This was the singular. And I end up at the end of the game, and I can't beat the Shadow Queen. I quit for a while, and I come back to it one day. However, I start playing it, and then my mom goes, "Nick, the air conditioner is broken. The guy's coming out to fix it. He's on his way." And I was like, "Great. No, I'm just playing video games. It's fine." The Shadow Queen becomes like the most unfair boss in the game, I'd say. She's immediately like so much stronger than you. And I'm losing terribly for a very long time. It's easy to lose in this game because you can decrease your damage.
Yes.
But if you're bad at attacking, you don't attack any better. So I'm dying. And I'm able to pull off a couple of action commands, and I get the roulette wheel of chance up in the right-hand corner.
Right.
And I get the shine sprites.
Oh.
Which refills everything. However, by this time, I've been fighting the boss for however long, and I am sweating to death. Whenever I play video games, anyone who's played after me will go, "Nick, your hands are sweaty and gross, and I hope I never have to play after you ever again." So my GameCube controller, I cannot even imagine, must be just wet. Like, disgusting. And I'm able, like, I get that click of, like, the shine sprites, and it goes, B-I-N-G-O, yeah! And the crowd fills up, and I get all my stats up, and I'm... and then the fight's over immediately, because I have all my stats up. And it was the best feeling. Because, like, imagine that feeling you get after like a workout where you're sweating. So
Yeah.
I got all that sweating, but I was just playing video games in a hot house on a farm in the middle of the summer.
But that's what victories are made of.
Oh, it felt good.
There's another thing I really found interesting about this game is, and it was just kind of like a slow realization, but it almost felt like a love letter to just the GameCube itself and its
Yeah.
games. Because as I was playing through, there's like a lot of neat nods, not just to Mario games, but to like the GameCube games in general that I noticed. Because you have in the second world, you have that Pikmin moment where you have all those little guys with little flowers on their
Yeah.
heads, like a
The-
certain other franchise. Like a certain other franchise where you can get up to 100 and use them against little insect or animal enemies. And then the intro reminded me a hell of a lot of Wind Waker's intro.
mm-hmm.
Because even like the book text is like in a different language, just like in Wind Waker where it's like Hyrillian.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what I don't know Marillion. What
It's Mushroom Kingdom and
Mushroom
must
Kingdom?
be.
Yeah, Mushroom Kingdom and something like that. It's Peachum.
Yeah, Peach.
It's Peachum. It's in the Peachum language, and you even have like starting off like you're traveling like through the ocean all the way. It's like it's moments like that that are just really neat. It's kind of weird how the GameCube, despite having all of its games, was not really a popular system. I don't know when this game came out, but I think it came out probably near the. I feel like closer to the end of the GameCube's era. It came out like in wait, or did
I
it?
think it was 04.
Oh, it was 04. So I guess not then. When did the Wii come out? Like 2007 or 6?
The Wii came out the Christmas of 06.
So it was pretty close.
Because I remember, because Paper Mario ties back into this, I got one for my birthday in 07, which is April 2nd.
Right.
And I played that for like 3 weeks straight. Nothing else. But then Super Paper Mario came out, and I was able to play that.
Well, that's definitely true. That's
It's like, but by that time I was like, oh, thank God, I hate Wii Sports more than anything in the world. I've had it in my home, and like my parents play it, and I play it, and my sister plays it, and I think we all hate it now.
Mm-hmm.
But convincing my mom was easy because she got to play bowling for a while.
Right. And then I completely forgot the other obvious reference which you mentioned was that the mob in the game being the island characters from Sunshine.
Yeah.
Which is the obvious like Mario reference, but then also like Luigi, despite like not being playable, he had a larger presence.
Yeah, he had his own adventure.
He had his own
with his own buddies.
With Princess Eclair, who all like hated him or like was just like, oh brother.
Yeah, they were all like, I'm with Luigi because I owe him money. Like, I'm not his friend.
Or the one where it's like the blooper that got like deep fried in the volcano is like, I will never forgive you, Luigi.
Yeah, he's like, I'm brown. I'm not naturally brown. I was burnt to death. I'm just a normal blooper who was burned.
And it's like it's like if they ever made like another like if they ever make like another Paper Mart or like a paper RPG game for like a console, I know they're making that 3DS one with the Mario and Luigi and paper. That doesn't count. That doesn't count. When they make a true one, one day I would like to see like Luigi's actual adventure.
Oh yeah, like Paper Luigi as like the companion game to this one.
Yeah,
would be really cool.
I would yeah. And it'd be really neat because you would have all of those weird little side quests you talked about, like when there was like a literal Mario Kart like adventure he had to go through where he just crashed his car.
And it's like, I crashed my car and I won. I'm Luigi.
It's like I'm just like things like that where it's just like by just being Luigi and screwing up, you just win all the time. That's like I don't know how that would really work, but I would totally play that. Or just a new adventure, but just Luigi is just such a he's an interesting character for just
Hmm.
like being Mario's brother. Just that whole concept.
Yeah, for going on a less important adventure. That's what
Yeah,
he's known for. He's like, oh, I went on an adventure at the same time, but the stakes were much lower. Don't
because
worry about it.
yeah, because it's like you have like for the two mainline like Mario Bros games and GameCube, other than like the RPGs, you had Luigi's Mansion, then you had Super Mario Sunshine. Luigi's
Hmm.
Mansion, he's trying to save his brother, and he's trying to deal with like a house issue where it's like I didn't. It's like oh I got a free house. Oh it's not mine. Oops. And then Super Mario Sunshine, it's like you've been framed, but you have to save the island from pollution. It's like
Yeah,
yeah.
I've played Luigi's Mansion way more times, all the way through, than I've played uh, Sunshine.
That is very true. I do find Mansion more fun than Sunshine, but in terms of scale, it's like Luigi's always the more small time adventure.
Hmm.
It seems like well Mario's grand scale just because of how he is.
Hmm.
But I still love Luigi. I even Luigi, I know L is for loser, but it's like Luigi's my favorite loser.
Hmm.
He's so interesting and quirky, and it's like if they can't make a good like at least a Paper Mario game I would ever be interested in again, I'd at least make a Paper Luigi because I would play that. Because he could at least have the excuse of Luigi talking, because it's like
Yeah,
yeah, because it's
we
like
know what
that's
Luigi's supposed to sound like.
yeah, you know what he does. It's like Mario's always a silent one, but it's like it makes more sense to have Luigi talk. And just have all his partners just not like him and just
Hmm.
be there for like the Misty from Pokemon reasons like oh he broke my bike oh he Luigi
You
yeah
inconvenienced me. I'll be your friend for the rest of my life.
yes something like that or just like a boo that he like trapped it's like I've got separated from all my friends it's all your
Uh,
fault something like that just anything that gave Luigi another like just a big old adventure, I would totally play that. Because I mean, if Wario could have his own franchise, Luigi should take the paper reins.
oh yeah, no. They have you played any of the what other Paper Mario games have you played? Because there's one for each console since the N64. You got N64, GameCube,
The Wii and then
Wii,
and
and
the
3DS.
3DS. I've only see I played all the way through. I played through the end of this Thousand Year Door. I've played through the
Hmm.
original Paper Mario. I played parts of a friend's of the Wii with Super Paper Mario, and I did
Hmm.
not like that one. I all the way through was like, I hate this. I hate this. This is not what I wanted. What I said I wanted to see.
This is not the sequel that I anticipated.
Because it's like they saw the Bowser gameplay moments of this game where you do like the platforming, and
Hmm.
it's like,
No,
oh, and,
it's
and someone went, oh, this is what people want, right?
yeah. People want 3% of the last game made 100% of the game.
Also, people love the love story. Let's have a terrible love story
Ooh,
with a character named
no.
Count Bleck.
I will like. I've played through 100. I've 100% completed each one,
Even the 3DS one.
even the 3DS one.
Oh
And
wow.
the one on the Wii, I think Super Paper Mario, while it does change up the gameplay to like an actual real platformer,
Mm-hmm.
I think it has some of the best individual moments of the entire Paper Mario franchise.
Ooh.
But I also think it has some of the very worst. Like Count Bleck has all these henchmen. There's one henchman whose name is Mimi. I don't know if you saw her.
I think
She's
I
like
remember her.
she's like a maid, but then when
She
she's
turns
the
into like a
boss,
spider.
she turns into a spider, and it's like actually pretty creepy when she does it. It's pretty
Yeah.
terrifying, and you go, "Oh, that's amazing!" But in that same chapter, it's like, "Hey, running this hamster wheel for 15 minutes and get the currency you need to beat the level," and you're like, "Oh, oh,
Oh.
why am I doing this? I hate this game." So it's this very like grindy but also rewarding game. And I Sticker Star was just fun to play on my 3DS because I could play it in chunks, and I played it while I was driving across the country to Colorado.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I would have probably beaten it any other way, but I bought it and I was like, okay, I'm driving to Colorado in a few weeks. I'm gonna have some time in the car.
Yeah. It's like,
And
yeah.
I paid $10 for it. It was perfect.
Yeah, $10. Yeah, it seems like a $10 game, at least as far as everything I like seen about it is just nothing I was interested in. Just like, oh, there's no partners. Oh, you
Ugh.
use stickers. Okay. Oh, what about characters? We got toads.
There's a Wiggler at a point.
Yeah.
He is your friend, sort of.
But
But
that's yeah.
it is a lot like that, and that's kind of its greatest downfall is that it keeps all the same gameplay elements, but it's like there's no story to keep it together.
Which is
Which
yeah.
at least 2 and 3 are so story heavy. Like like the first one is, but it's so light. Like it's just every story trope exalted.
Yeah.
Like there's no twists, which I feel like someone at Nintendo went, "There's no twists in the first one," and they went, "What if everyone's family came back?" And so they made that the theme of the Thousand Year Door
Mm-hmm.
for like the first 4 chapters is my family has returned.
Yeah, it just came. It was like, oh, he came. They come out of like nowhere. I find it funny, like the third chapter where it's like, oh yeah, your brother's probably dead. Oh well.
Yeah.
And then he just pops out of nowhere with the star.
He pops out of the crystal star and he's like, "Hi, I'm Prince Mush." And you're just like,
there.
"Oh, how did you show up? Where did you come from? Tell us, please.
I came
Tell
from
us the story."
I'm a star, so I came from a star. Okay, I'm here. And I didn't see him at all when they were doing each chapter when they go against the demon for like the praying moment they do in some of these JRPGs. It's like, let's all pray. We'll power you up, which I love. I'm not hating on that, but it's like,
it does. It does feel good that you're like, oh, everyone remembers the good that I did.
Yeah.
And like, oh, they're praying for me to do good.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
I didn't see Prince Mush anywhere. So that dude can go to hell for all I care. He didn't.
I'll be honest. If someone had stolen my life force, I might be an atheist. I feel like that would really challenge my belief system.
And not just like anyone, but like a wrestler manager.
Your wrestling boss stole your life. It's like, what?
Yeah, just it brings new meaning to like how the WWE would fit in.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just imagining how that would work. I don't know much about that, but I would just find it really funny if like the reason why you see like people get like retired or something, it's just their souls had to be drained to fuel my life. No, don't. Let's not mention that we fired them.
So I gotta add, the only real optional thing in this game, as far as gameplay, is like, did you get Mrs. Mouse?
I did get it, but
okay,
yeah, I will say though, I did. I was just curious as to whether or not she was like a partner, and then someone had already like told me, oh yeah, you have to do like some quest. So if no one told me that, I never would have gotten her because I never paid much attention to those like little side quest things. Because I did like 2 of them, and I was like, oh, I got a couple coins. Skip.
Yeah, as you should. If you've ever played this game, you're like, I got 20 coins for 30 minutes of gameplay. I could have killed 20 Goombas, got that much in 10 minutes.
Yeah,
that's great.
Or just like go to the next level and get it like in 5 minutes. Like, because it's like I do things like I help smuggle things to like outlaw Goombas, right? And it's like, oh, I get the equivalent of $3.
Yeah.
Walter White would kill for
Yeah.
more than that. I mean, I'm just saying.
There's
If
one quest where they're like, the reward for the quest is the knowledge that Sleepy Sheep's bought over at the Toad Place in Petalburg can be sold at Rogueport for 1 coin profit. It's like, oh, that's what I learn. That's the side quest, is that I can do that. But by that time, you've fought a million enemies and you have more coins than you know what to deal with because you have learned how to play the game.
it's like, yeah, I feel like if they ever tried anything like that, I don't know if they did. They do anything like that in Super Paper Mario, or they just get rid of that.
Oh, it's gone.
Yeah, I thought so. Because I feel like, because I feel like maybe if they gave like rarer items for those things, that would have fixed that, or maybe like had like better badges that maybe you could
Mm-hmm.
find at like the badge store. Which
No.
something like that would have made it much easier, or at least, and at the very least, they should be fun. Like
Yeah.
I feel like they should be more than just like fetch quests. Like, oh, go here, now go here, but no, go back to the first guy to confirm to get your reward of
Yeah.
30
Go to get
coins.
the thing, but then it's not there and get a different thing and then bring it back and then you win.
Yeah,
Ugh.
it's that's not fun. Like there's like some side quests that looked potentially interesting, but I just never did. Like there's one of those where it's like you need to find Luigi or something
Mm-hmm.
because someone was like, "Oh, bring my dream boy Luigi over."
Oh no, you have to wear his outfit.
Oh, really?
Yeah, no, to get that one. I love this part of it because all the badges in the game, like you can invest in nothing but badge points
Mm-hmm.
and win. You
Yeah.
really can. Like, and then there are some badges like the music ones, like the sound effect ones, the ones that
Yeah.
make the cricket,
Mm-hmm.
or there's two that you can get optionally. I remember them so clearly. One is sold by the guy on the left, the guy who's supposed to be Persian, like he's like Persian racist Mario character, and he
Yeah.
goes, "Welcome to my shop. Here is everything I have in my cloak."
Yeah.
And he'll have the Wario emblem, but you can also get the Luigi emblem from inside the fake museum.
And you
And
can, yeah.
if you wear the Luigi one, you look like Luigi, Wario. But if you equip them both, you wear Waluigi's outfit.
Oh my god.
Yeah, no, you do that and you look super purple, and it's GameCube purple, which is just rendered so bright that it's great, and you play as that the rest of the game.
Holy cow, that sounds amazing. Where is Paper Waluigi while we're at it?
Yeah, I guess we've never really gotten a singular Waluigi game.
I feel like if there was ever a Waluigi game, I would laugh the hardest if it was a paper Waluigi and if it was like a full-time RPG. Like with a story.
He's just an old wadded up piece of paper.
Yeah.
Unfolded, and he looks like Nosferatu, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm Waluigi."
Or like that the purposefully like weirdly drawn one for like that the Brawl in the Family webcomic.
Yes.
Like if that was that and that was a whole like RPG based around that, day zero I would buy that pre-order that because that is I think as far as like him being like the ultimate like joke evil Mario character, like that would be the best joke. Because he just started out in Mario Tennis, of all games, and is now like a recognizable Mario character with no game of his own to say. So that would just be funny if it just like he takes over the RPGs and they make him like good again.
I mean, I don't know how much you've heard, but as far as what is today? Today is the 24th of January 2016.
Right.
I think it's yesterday. Someone broke that there's supposed to be a Paper Mario on the Wii U.
Oh my god.
Like they were like 5 sources have told us that the team who's made Paper Mario before is making one on the Wii U.
I'm trying to remember the Intelligent Designs.
Intelligent Systems.
Intelligent System, that's right. That I need that I
No,
need.
I mean, in my mind, I really hope that it's more like Thousand Year Door, like it's term based,
Hmm.
because the stories in Thousand Year Door, like the individual ones, are just so much fun. They're all so different. Like
Right.
some are adventures, some are mysteries, some are romance. They're just all so
Yeah.
different. Like it's hard. It's hard to want more of anything else. Like I mean, we've only had two other types of games, which are Super Paper Mario, which we've played before, and I don't want another game in that style because I don't
Yeah.
think that gameplay can't be expanded upon. But like
Yeah.
using the Wii U gamepad, like you could do origami, you could do different stuff.
I would really want that. I supremely want that because they don't have anything else right now because they just finished Fire Emblem the new one, and
Mm-hmm.
they've already done the whatever the one they did for the Shimigami Tensei X Fire Emblem, the super anime one that I'm gonna get anyway because
SMAXFE.
yeah, something like that. They changed his name to like something that they haven't translated yet, so it's like I don't know what that is. But they have nothing right now. They have nothing announced. So if anything, just give me Paper Mario, Paper Waluigi. Give me something. I don't care
Or
if it's yeah.
just keep pushing Star Fox or whatever. Keep telling me I'm not going to get Star Fox. I
It's
it's
coming one day.
it's
It'll
been a rough holiday season to own a Wii. Granted, I bought a PS4, so my holiday season was okay. But
for
uh,
RPGs for this year. It's gonna be good for us for JRPGs because you know the game I'm talking about for the PS4.
oh, Nino Kuni 2.
Hell yes.
Oh,
That
Nino Kuni 2 is going to make me melt.
so that's coming out. So in the meantime, the Wii U can just take a deep breath, and then Star Fox will somehow come out in the exhale. I fully believe in it. I'm a big fan of Platinum Games, and they're doing the single player, so
No,
it's like
hearing that they were like, we got platinum games on this, is just like, oh, great.
so
Could
it's yeah.
it's gonna be so much fun.
So we're getting that for sure. So I'm not sad, and eventually we'll get the Fire Emblem Shimigami Tensei, whatever it's going to be called. I'll get that, and then who knows? E3 when they whatever they do, maybe at the very end it's like one more thing. Paper Mario, baby.
I
So
honestly, I honestly think what's going to happen as far as E3 and all that goes is they're going to have like a direct in a couple months where they're like, we're going to give you Paper Mario and some other games, and that Wii U Zelda is going to be on the Wii U. I think it's going to be exclusive,
mhm.
and then everyone's talking about the NX,
Yeah,
and the NX is going to get the 3D Mario game that's like the sequel to Galaxy as
right.
its launch title.
That wouldn't shock me at all.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think Wii U Zelda is gonna be exclusively on Wii U, and that we're gonna get a badass 3D Mario in like the most beautiful graphics we've ever seen. They're gonna be like, this is the NX, and we're all gonna cry and pee ourselves and be like, Mario's never looked this good. It's like the future.
He's gonna have super mega 4K jumps.
I can see the stitching in his overalls. It makes me cry.
Yeah. But at the very least, I hope they at least throw out some more like Wii U games while they kind of get ready to launch the
Yeah.
NX or whatever the NX may end up being. Like no one really knows what it is, and they still got those mobile games. I would I would be very intrigued if Paper Mario ended up being like a mobile title.
I would hate myself and I'd die. I just want a console Paper Mario game.
I mean,
I want nothing to challenge my status quo. That's Like that's
There've
where
been
it
some
is.
good, at least like ports of good JRPGs on like phones. So at the
Yeah,
very
I
least, if
can.
it's like I would not mind if maybe one if that was what it takes to get more Paper Mario's made, like a console and a phone release, go right ahead, do what you need to do to get like some good ones. If you gotta do it that way, I'm fine. I will.
I I guess, but don't make me choose that. Just just
Well, I mean, I choose the Wii U version, but
just
it's
like
like, yeah, but people would get like needed like the phone version, whatever. It's like go right ahead. This more options are better. I like having options. Options are fun. That's why I like choosing between Jump and Hammer.
no. I bought Final Fantasy VII on my PS4, and it was a great purchase because I can click the left stick and the game goes 3 times as
I know
fast.
I love and I like
And
when
you're like, oh, this game is playable now.
yeah that
Oh man.
and then you can shut down like random encounters and you can do the
Hmm.
the super cheat button which you can get your health and your limit meter.
Yeah,
It's the fuck it mode.
unlimited ultimate attacks.
Just stuff like that. I'd like to see. I mean, I think Paper Mario is fine as it is. Like as far as like Thousand Year Door, like how you like timing everything. I think that works better, especially like
Hmm.
with the badge where you can like if an enemy's weaker than you and you jump and they die, they can just die instantly.
Yeah, like you don't even go into a fight; they just turn into coins.
Yeah, I would like one day if they just made that just automatic or just they run away from you. Like I did you ever play any of the Persona games at all?
No, but I had enemies run away from me in Earthbound.
Well, and okay, so it's Persona 3. I remember it was just like Earthbound, where enemies would just run away from you if you're like level up high enough. They'll have like the little anime like drop whatever, and they'll go, "Oh no!" They'll run. They'll just run away because you're too powerful. I want that in Mario, Paper Mario. I want a Goomba to like freak out. Like
Oh my god,
I,
it's the guy who's killed everyone in my family but me.
I
I should
scream.
run.
You just get a little like scream look and just run away. If they would do that, I would. I'm all for that. I want Mario to be feared. Just have they'll be the first like moral choice system in a Paper Mario. Just like, will you jump?
Hmm.
Will you kill?
Oh, I really hope though that if there is a Wii U Paper Mario, that they do this, that they keep moving forward. I know this sounds weird because I'm not a big tech guy, but like move forward on the art style,
Mm-hmm.
like really make it look like paper.
So kind of like what they've done with the Yarn Yoshi's Woolly World and like the Kirby.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Like really go 100% on the texture of paper and like make everything look like paper. And that's how you make this Paper Mario different from the others, at least visually.
that'd be pretty
Because
cool.
for the most part, like Thousand Year Door, Super Paper Mario, and Sticker Star look exactly the same.
Mm-hmm.
They all look similar. But if you were to like really make everything look like paper, it could look incredible. Like if you follow through in that art style, like Little Big Planet, sort of.
Yeah, it's like that's something I've really been intrigued with since they did like the clay with Kirby. Like,
Oh, so
yeah,
good.
yeah, it's like with the more Nintendo like has experimented with like different like art techniques with their games with like that, the more I've wanted to see them with like even their other franchises do that. Like
Hmm.
I've always been interested in like maybe seeing how they could if they have to make like if that's the only way they could do like a new like Metroid game. It'd be neat
Oh,
seeing something like that where maybe like Metroid's all of like glass art, where it's
mhm.
like
Oh, that would be all I want is a new 2D Metroid.
yeah, that's that
I
yeah.
I would I would give up a lot
Just
for a new 2D Metroid.
yeah. For the meantime, what we're getting is that Federation Force, but hey, you know that they still recognize it. It's not
Yeah, I'm not upset about Federation Force, but like man, if you gave me a new 2D Metroid, I'd be pretty happy.
that'd be pretty good. I would be pretty excited, but I would be down for like a full on like realistic paper, like full on paper craft. Even if they had
Mhm.
like for jumping, had like a little stick attached to the bottom when you jump.
Yeah, no, like that kind of stuff would make it more interesting, and I think would elevate that style a lot.
Yeah, that'd be really cool. I would really be into that. Just stuff like that be really neat. But can you think of it? This we're kind of reaching the end. Can you think of anything else you'd like to add about anything you can think of to this game at all, or do anything about Paper Mario?
Man, uh, it's a series that has continued to have sequels, but to also do something very different. And as much as I want it to go backwards to Thousand Year Door, if they do something radically different, I will play it. Like, they've gone from turn based to action RPG platformer to uh, what's the word, inventory based, like you only
Yeah,
have a certain amount of attacks, and like that's a cool idea, and playing through it was a lot of fun, but it was like they're all mired in the consequences of their design, and each one has its own problems. But if they did something so right again but also had the same amount of problems like they have before, I'll play it. I'll probably pre-download it and then play it at 11.
I would do the same thing. Like
Uh,
yeah, it's just if you just give me a Paper Mario with like a characters that aren't just Toads and a Wiggler,
oh yes.
just or
Oh
really just more than Toads. Like I miss that they used to have like different like even non Mario game mainline Mario game like character races like they had in Twilight Town. They had like the
yes.
shadowy people,
Mm-hmm.
and it's which was kind of funny because immediately when I saw Twilight Town, I thought of Kingdom Hearts. I was like, oh my god, oh my god, oh man, crossover time. That's what they should have done in the 3DS, or even the Game Boy Advance Kingdom Hearts. They should have had Paper Mario show up.
Mm-hmm.
Just have that, just the full on. That would have been great, but
He does that weird like single action wave where it's like yo, and his elbow moves like apart from everything else on his body, and his hand shakes violently, and he's like, "Whoa!"
oh, and then Bowser's Heartless shows up and his nobody.
Man,
Bowser's nobody joins Organization 13.
man, I pity whoever comes on your show and does anything other than the first Kingdom Hearts. Like, if they ever do a Kingdom Hearts aside from the first one, where it's like, nah, the bad guys, they're called Heartless. They beat up Sora. He becomes a Heartless. He's not anymore, and then it's over. And it's like, this is Kingdom Hearts 2. You start out as a character you've never met before, and he's from a game you haven't played that hasn't come out yet. And you're going to have him turn into another character who is the character from the first game, but you're not going to know why. Like, whoever's going to have that time, God bless them. Like,
But
ooh.
yeah, I feel sorry for that, or for Chain of Memories, which is here's the guy from the first game, and your two friends have been turned to trading cards,
Yeah.
and use
You're
trading cards to fight people
yeah.
you've never seen before who all wear hoods, call themselves the organization, and meanwhile the guy you're looking for is right below you. the
To be fair
whole
though, I'll come back and do 358 over 2 days. That's that's a game I know for whatever.
I love Kingdom Hearts. I don't care if it's trash. It is trash that I love, and I will buy the 2.85 whatever it's called. It's terrible name. I will buy it day one
I will too. That's the
because it
problem.
has Kingdom Hearts 3 content of some sort. So I will.
We're the consumer, but we're also the problem.
Which
We're cyclical.
where we it's a problem that will never end. But you know what? I don't really care.
No, because we benefit, but we also suffer.
Yeah. Well, with that, I'm gonna call this to close. Thank you so much for being on. This has been fun.
Yeah, no, I will be on as often or as little as you'd like.
We need to do this again sometime. Be fun and having. We'll talk about that later, but for now, music cue. Hey, what's up? What's up? What's up? Hey, what's up? It's Jack. Guess what? It's the end. Oh my god, this beat is fast. This beat is fast. This beat is super fast. Oh god, this is not going well at all. Oh my god, this is a disaster. Oh, this is too much for me. Oh god. There's no content left. Oh god, I gotta go. Bye.